Okay, so today what we're going to do is get involved with Floyd Rose systems, locking trem systems. They are super popular. Everybody uses them. Sort of a staple in part of the equipment that we use to make our music. Problem is, they're very, very, very misunderstood. People have problems in tuning, keeping them in tune, keeping them intonated. And what I've done is bring my man Adam Reaver along from Floyd Rose itself, because nobody knows how to answer questions about Floyd Rose more than Adam. He takes phone calls all day long about why my guitar won't stay in tune. This is going to be more than one segment. This will probably be 3 or 4 segments, and what we're aiming to do is put all your questions to sleep so that you can get the most performance out of your Floyd Rose locking tremolo system. Okay, in this first segment, let's talk about the basic principles of what makes a Floyd work, what presents problems to people more commonly than anything else.
I think the thing that I bump into most is people email, call, write in and say, you know, I can't get my guitar in tune. I keep trying to tune it and my bridge keeps lifting up and tilting forward, and it took me 2 hours to tune my guitar today.
Tuning, slipping, all kinds of things?
Tuning, slipping, yeah, that's actually, you may want to cut that because that's a whole different problem.
They can cut it, they got it.
Yeah, the tuning slippages, leave that out. Tuning slippage is not going to be part of the setup, but we can do that in troubleshooting. That's a different problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the 4 basic steps to setting up the bridge, but the main thing is you want to block your bridge so it's level to the body, so you have a stable tuning environment and setup environment. Whether you're going to end up floating at the end or not doesn't matter. You want it blocked and steady to work. That's where everyone runs into the most trouble. That's why the bridge lifts up while you're tuning, because you're fighting the float. You know, you get one string in tune and it's good, then you tune another string while the bridge is floating, the first string's going to bounce out of tune.
Right, so by blocking it, you establish a stability which allows you to work out from until you're complete in your maintenance process.
Right, the bridge will not move forward or back during the setup. Right, and that's why guys get handcuffed more than anything, because they're fighting a floating system during a setup. So the number one thing, the very first step, block or stabilize the bridge.
And let's look at some of those things.
There's a couple of ways to go about blocking the bridge. And when I say blocking the bridge, I mean so that when you pull up on the bar, the bridge does not move. So this one is obviously, this bridge is floating. So we're going to block this so when we pull up,
it's the same. It would be the same as a hardtail.
Yes.
Stop tail piece.
Almost. You can still press
down on it.
You can still go down.
You can go down on it, but it's hard like a stop tail.
Okay. So where I'm going to start, I'm going to show you a couple different ways to block the bridge. So right now, if this bridge is unblocked.
What is that thing you got in there?
This is a tremolo stopper. But I'm going to show you the direction the bridge block moves when you pull up on the bar. Okay. So right now I'm going to pull up on the bar. And you see how the block moves forward that way?
It's decreasing in tension.
Right. So this is, the springs are, and you're increasing the tension on the strings. That's the pull-up. Mm-hmm. So we want to stop this from happening. There's several ways to do this. Some are permanent, some are temporary. You can go back and forth. The easiest, the most effective way is to use this little tremolo stopper in here. And the way this works...
You can put it right up into the camera.
The way this tremolo stopper works is there's a screw that moves back and forth in here, and we're going to butt it up against the block.
The black screw holds the block.
Right. So this one that's
and this mounts to the body in the cavity.
To the body. So if you look at this one right here, we're going to bring the screw forward to a spot where we want the base plate of the tremolo to stop. And I will show you that once I flip it over. But let's
get a real close-up. So you can see where the screw is hard mounted to the body by this set screw, and this threaded screw you adjust until you get the block hitting right up against it. Now, when you try to pull up on the bar,
You
you
can't.
can't because this bar or this screw is stopping the movement.
Exactly. Now, the next thing we want to make sure of at this point is that the base plate of the tremolo, when I say the base plate, I'm talking about this part right here, is level to the body. You don't want it, if you put that stopper in too far, you're going to have the bridge sitting up like this.
You don't want that.
So you want to establish a nice
Even, flat.
flat to the body, base plate of the tremolo, level to the body. You can have it tilted back a hair, but never tilted forward. So a lot of times I see guys, when they go to stop the tremolo, they go, I block the tremolo, and they'll take a battery or a screwdriver and stick it under there and change their strings like that. What I'm going to call this, for lack of a better term, is now that we have this spot established, I'm going to call it ground zero. The tremolo is at ground zero because at the end of the setup, this is where we're going to want to get back to. This is where you want your tremolo to sit while you're playing. So this is how we're going to get there. So
Whether it's pulling up with, or even when it's floating, you
Sure.
want the return position to be the middle
will be
position.
this exact ground zero spot.
Right.
So what we did was we've established the stop right here. And that's the tremolo stopper doing that. I want to show you some alternate ways to block the bridge. So the tremolo stopper is obviously the easiest way to do it.
It's easy to install.
Very easy to install. There's 2 screws,
This is a Floyd Rose product,
Floyd Rose product.
so you can buy it. If somebody wanted it, where would they find it?
Go to floydrose.com, call the office.
The phone number. The phone number's on the website.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I give the phone number?
Sure.
732-918-7001. So there's 2 screws that mount the stopper directly to the back cavity of the guitar.
So you could put this in like 5 minutes.
Less. Two screws, boom, right in, and then the black screw slides back and forth.
Cool.
So
As an alternative, what would you?
as an alternative, there's a couple of different ways we can go here. A lot of guys want something that's permanent, and I'm going to grab this guitar right
Take
here.
this out of your way.
You can just slide it forward a hair. So here's an open back cavity without a tremolo stopper in it. A couple different ways you can do this. You can use a wood block, and you do the same thing. Mount it.
Put it up against the block.
Establish your ground zero point where you're comfortable. So if I push this too far forward, the bridge is going to cock up.
Right, because the bridge has to be level, like we just talked about.
Right. So if I wanted to do this permanently, I would find my level spot where I want this, put my block of wood in there, grab a couple of screws, right in. It's permanent.
You don't want to make a screw too long. You
Go
want to
through the front.
make sure you don't come through the pickup cavity.
One of
Okay.
these little guys would probably be a lot better. But this would be permanent and it wouldn't move. At that point, your tremolo would go down only. Alternatively, there's another trick I like to do. It's like sometimes you don't have the right block of wood. Sometimes you're not going to have a tremolo stopper. One of the tricks I like to do is I take a few guitar picks and I figure out how many picks it's going to take
To take up that space.
to block that space. And what I'll do is I'll measure it 5, 6, 7 picks to get my ground zero, the right size, and I'll take whatever my final count was to get the bridge where I want it. I'll pop the bridge out. I'll take the picks like this. I'll throw a wrap of tape around
Oh,
them.
that's pretty cool.
So if this were sitting in there, it would stop, it would close that gap, and then when you went down on the bar, your picks wouldn't fall out because you have a wrap of tape on them. Another good Jimmy rig is those.
How do you get it out?
Well, this one, if you throw a wrap of tape on it, it's permanent. But if I'm going to do this on the fly, if I'm in a pinch and I want to refloat the bridge at the end, I'm going to figure out that measurement, the 5 or 6 picks, whatever it took. I'm going to put them in there, and I'm going to leave them there just for the setup. Just like at the end of the setup, we're going to back the tremolo stopper off.
All right.
I'll leave them in there just for the setup. And at the end, when I'm done, I can just crook the bar and they'll fall right out.
There you go.
So you want to establish that blocked, stable position, whether you're going to leave it permanent like this, permanent with a block of wood, or if you're going to pop them out at the end. The picks are a good way to go. And if you have some of this cool, obnoxious orange tape,
Yeah.
all the better.
Definitely.
So we've established how to block the bridge and how to find the position of where to block it.